Throughout human history, countless generals have been celebrated for commanding mighty armies and ruling vast territories. Yet what truly earns the admiration of posterity is not overwhelming power, but the ability to triumph against impossible odds, to defeat a stronger enemy with a weaker force. The art of fighting many with few, defeating the strong with the weak, has thus become the truest measure of military genius. What unites these commanders? Not vast armies or superior weapons, but brilliance and willpower. They proved that in war, strategy, creativity, and leadership can outweigh sheer numbers, and that the weak can overcome the strong when guided by genius. The art of defeating the strong with the weak is thus not merely a military doctrine, but a timeless symbol of humanity's faith in intellect, courage, and determination. History remembers them not only as conquerors, but as eternal testaments to the power of the human mind over adversity. The following are the 10 best generals of all time, according to the above criteria. 1. Tran Hung Dao, Vietnam, the eternal symbol. In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire swept across Asia and Europe, conquering everywhere they set foot. But when they invaded Jiva, they faced Turn Heo, with forces outnumbered many times over. He turned rivers and mountains into traps, fishermen into soldiers. 3 times he defeated the Mongols. The 1288 besieged Jiang River, victory where hundreds of enemy ships were impaled and sunk, remains a masterpiece of asymmetric warfare, proving intellect can conquer brute strength. 2. Vo Nguyen Giap, the people's general. Centuries later, history repeated itself in Vietnam. Vien Nguyen Giap, a self-taught commander, lead a small nation to victory over 2 world powers, France and the United States. At Yeon Bien Phaich, in 1954, his people dragged artillery through mountains and jungles to besiege and annihilate the French fortress. 2 decades later, the same spirit brought victory against the US. Giap's genius in People's War earned him the title Red Napoleon from military scholars worldwide. 3. Hannibal Barca, Rome's nightmare. During the Punic Wars, Carthage was weaker than Rome, but Hannibal struck terror into its heart. Crossing the Alps with war elephants, he repeatedly won despite inferior numbers. At Cannae, in 216 BC, with only 50,000 troops, he encircled and destroyed over 70,000 Romans. A tactical masterpiece, still studied in military academies today. 4. Khalid ibn Arwald, the Sword of God. In the 7th century, Khalid ibn Arwalid became a legend of invincibility. At the Battle of only 40,000 Arab troops crushed over 100,000 Byzantines. His lightning mobility and ability to strike at enemy weaknesses demonstrated how agility and audacity can outweigh numbers. 5. Alexander the Great, master of the battlefield. Facing Persian armies many times larger, Alexander repeatedly triumphed. With the Macedonian phalanx and elite cavalry, he shattered superior forces. At Gaugamela, his 40,000 men destroyed over 100,000 Persians, paving the way for an empire from Greece to India. Alexander embodied the power of strategy over size. 6. Subutai, Genghis Khan's right hand. If Genghis Khan was the founder, Subutai was the true architect of Mongol conquests. He commanded over 20 campaigns, winning more than 60 battles, often against greater numbers. His mastery of deception, long-distance coordination, and lightning campaigns across thousands of kilometers made him one of history's greatest yet least known geniuses. 7. Julius Caesar, the Alesia masterpiece. In Gaul, Caesar often faced vastly superior tribal forces. At Alesia, with just 60,000 men, he built double fortifications to besiege the city, while simultaneously fending off a 250,000-strong relief army. This dual-front defense remains a model of strategic brilliance. 8. Napoleon Bonaparte, the thunder of Europe. In the 19th century, Napoleon shook Europe. At Austerlitz, his 68,000 men crushed 90,000 Russian and Austrian troops by feigning weakness, luring them in, then striking decisively. His doctrine of concentrating force at the decisive point continues to shape modern warfare. 9. Genghis Khan, founder of the Mongol Empire. Though his empire's victories often relied on overwhelming strength, in his early years, Genghis Khan repeatedly triumphed against stronger foes through iron discipline, psychological warfare, and organizational genius. He laid the foundation for the largest land empire in history. 10. Georgy Zhukov, the savior of the Soviet Union. In World War II, Zhukov stood as Russia's savior. At Moscow in 1941 and Stalingrad in 1942, when the Soviet Union seemed on the brink of collapse, he held firm, turned the tide, and later commanded the final assault on Berlin. Zhukov exemplified the art of transforming weakness into strength through resilience and organization.